Hi, I'm Kyle Cordes, and my topic for today is something that I call a strategic vacation. This is an idea that came from some things that happened to me over the last few years, and I've told this story in person probably 20 or 30 times to different individuals and groups, and I thought this would be a good time to finally go ahead and write it down and tell it here online. So the story starts back in 2004. With a co-founder, I started a software as a service firm that year, and of course, the way we started out, as most co-founders do, is that between myself and he, we were doing everything. I was the technical staff, and he was pretty much everything else, and he was even part of the technical staff too. Um, Over the course of a few years following that, we hired a bunch of people in a bunch of roles, and we ended up with a company where we really were not doing anywhere near all the work. Most of the work was being done by other people. That worked, but there were still a bunch of little remnants of work that required my presence, that I had to show up and I had to do something either every day or at worst every week. Well, that's a big problem. That means that I was still critical on a near daily basis just to keep the doors open to the company. Now, around that time, I came up with this idea, and I don't remember where it came from, but I came up with the idea that I should try taking a very long vacation with my family. So we went ahead and scheduled a 3-week vacation for the following year. The good thing about certain kinds of vacations is they have to be scheduled a long way out, and that gives you plenty of time to prepare your life to work to run without you for that time. So we did that, and so I had 6, 8, 10 months, something like that, to prepare. And so in that time, I went through a very long list of responsibilities that I had. Financial accounting work, sysadmin work, software development assistance. I was still doing some of the software development, monitoring systems, making sure we were serving customers well. I had my fingers in all of these things and more. And over the course of that preparation period, I managed to get all of those things sufficiently documented, described, automated, delegated, that those things could all happen without me in a reasonably consistent, good enough way for weeks and weeks at a time. Um, I finally took the vacation as scheduled, and it worked. In fact, it worked so well that it was essentially a non-event from the point of view of the company. I don't think any of the company's customers ever even noticed that I was gone for that time, and I think some of the company's staff didn't even notice that I was gone for that time. I would maybe call in and talk to one person every few days for a little while, but I was mostly calling in to assuage my own worries. I don't think I actually needed to do anything for that entire time. I ended up being away from work for a full month. Um, this, in retrospect, was probably the best thing I ever did in terms of the maturity and smooth function of that company. And in fact, this work that I did to prepare for this vacation turned out to be absolutely critical to being able to sell the company a few years later. If I hadn't done this, then the sale would have been really held up because I would have had to disclose and tell the buyers that they needed me. There are all these things I did. And instead, I was able to honestly say, everything's written down, this work can be done, we've done the work, we've automated the processes, it's ready to go. So, and anyway, I call this idea a strategic vacation. That's probably not a very good name, but it's the name that I chose. And I really recommend that for any entrepreneur who's trying to make their organization mature, make an organization have its own life to run without them, to make it sort of take on something apart, not being part of you, but being apart from you. So if you want to learn more, take a look at my website where I've written down this and many other ideas, and thank you for watching.